Welcome to
Oh,
another episode of Wrinkles in the Crease, where we take a look at the stories in hockey and iron out the details. I'm your host, Zachary Morgan, and it is good to be back. I have with me my co-hosts, as always, the less than real deal, Trevor Neal. Trevor, what is going on?
it's playoffs. The games mean something again. I'm so
Yes.
excited.
Yes, it is April
So
19th. The
excited.
playoffs start tomorrow on April 20th, and that is the only thing of note to be happening on April 20th. That is right. The only thing of note.
Yeah.
And I've got with me, you know him. He's Lindy. He's Buff. It's Lindy Buff. Andrew Tortoriello. Andrew, how we doing, my friend?
I'm doing, you know, I'm doing. I'm excited for the
Lindy
playoffs.
Buff.
Are you
More
excited for
employed
the
than Lindy Ruff.
Lindy Buff return to Buffalo?
Uh I am. I think he could run that team to the ground. The people of Buffalo love him. I mean,
You
I
you
don't know
mean
what
I
it
feel
is.
like you mean that literally after this past season.
Yeah, no, he literally he could uh I don't know. Point is that the people there love him. It's like an unconditional love that you would think he's related to them. Uh so I definitely think he's gonna be back. And
People
maybe
still
I don't know how you could do worse than missing the playoffs for what, 13 years now?
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
2011?
it sounds
right.
about right.
Yeah. So
2008, 2009 was probably the last time they made the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, right? No,
Oh
longer
my
than that.
god.
Longer than that.
so, you know, take a chance. Why not?
But Lindy Ruff might take the Sabres over the hump and get them into the top three in the Atlantic. Or they might finish at the bottom. I have no idea, and I don't think Lindy knows either.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. Why not take a chance? You know, you have a lot of talent on the Sabres. They have that really good goalie, right?
Devin Levi
Uh,
is in the
i-
wings, but uh,
is Ukko-Pekka Lekkinen? Is that how
he's been
you
good.
Ukko-Pekka Lekkinen? Yeah, he's been
He's been
good.
good. Yeah.
They
They
have
had
a
a
good little
crazy
goaltending
day ago.
tandem there.
Say it again.
The name?
No, what you
Or
said.
oh, I think they have a really good little tandem in
Ukko
Buffalo
Pekka
for the
Luukkonen.
future.
Yeah, I do
Ukko-Pekka
too.
Lekkinen. That's
That's
an
what I'm
exciting
saying.
tandem for the future.
Just
I
the reason.
love that we started our Welcome to the Playoffs episode by talking about the team that has not made the playoffs in 13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buffalo.
Why wouldn't we? When talking about the playoffs, why would we not talk about the Buffalo
For
Sabres?
for the first large chunk of the show, it was how does this affect the Leafs? And I think from this point on, it's how does this move affect the Buffalo Sabres and their quest to just make the damn playoffs?
That's right, because we're moving the capital of hockey over from Toronto to Buffalo as of this
I
moment.
actually picked up the Hall of Fame this morning and moved it.
Yeah. Trevor did that. He
Yeah.
put the Hall of Fame all on his lower back and moved it all across the bridge to
Wow,
Buffalo. Yeah.
incredible.
Mhm.
Hats off to
Worth it
Trevor.
by myself.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
I
Do you
brought it to
guys
the
have
country where it
any?
belongs.
Without explaining it, do you have any Stanley Cup favorites out of 16 teams made the
Yes.
playoffs? Who are you going with?
Yes, I do. Dallas.
Dallas, really?
Dallas feels special to me. Yep.
Okay, Trevor's wrong. Zach,
If you're putting a gun to my head right now and asking me to pick a team,
He's gonna say Florida. He's gonna
no,
like
who
hype
won
it
the
up,
Pacific?
go off the board. The
Who's
Pacific would have
Vancouver?
been.
Yeah, that would have been Vancouver. No, I'm not too hot.
I'm going the
Okay,
over.
the teams that are.
That core can win a cup, I think, but just not this year.
Yeah,
No, not right.
Yeah,
There's well, okay.
I guess I'm gonna have to go. Florida's really looking good. I'm gonna have to go with I guess either Florida or yeah, Dallas. Honestly,
I would go. I'm
I
going Boston or Edmonton.
you're crazy.
I think the Bruins are the.
You're absolutely insane.
Okay, the Bruins are already in the second round, so they're farther. They're farther than any other team.
Did you pick them just so you could say that?
No, but I've been thinking about it a lot. I really have. Hey, Trevor, you okay, buddy? Something you
I'm
want to talk
okay.
about?
I'm
Why do
scared.
you have
I'm
any
scared.
sort of? I don't really care. The Bruins pick isn't the problem there. Why do you have any faith in the Edmonton Oilers? Respectfully.
Because they've been looking really good, and I think they're working much more cohesively. they've shown
Fuck.
a stark upward trajectory, and towards the end of the season, they've really hit a sweet spot. So I think if they can carry that into the playoffs, maybe they can get something going. And if they have just the right sort of weird pinball of losing in the East, I think maybe
They're carrying getting dog walked in the last game in Arizona
that's
into the playoffs.
that's not
No,
I
that doesn't count.
scratched
That's
because the entire team was scratched, and Arizona was going to win that game no matter what.
yeah,
that's
They
fair,
had to
but
win
I
that game.
just
They also
don't.
got curb stomped by Dallas like a week and a half ago,
I
and they
really,
have
I
not played
they
well against
might.
them or Vegas.
I don't think. I think the Los Angeles Kings are the perfect team to potentially knock out the Edmonton Oilers. Honestly,
I see
they're
that because
they're
LA's played them really well, haven't they? Because
LA
this
has
is their
played them
third straight
really
year.
well, and they're going to be a physical challenge for the Edmonton Oilers that I don't know if they can overcome. That's
but
what it
there's
comes
this
down to.
Who
guy
Let me check who
is
won.
Drew
McDavid.
Doughty still LA's number one defenseman? Is that still him?
I have no
Okay,
clue.
I'm looking at whatever defenseman is in charge of McDavid on the Kings and going, your job is to get your stick and put it in his spine. No matter what he is doing, make it hurt. Just make his life a living hell for 7 games, and that's how you shut down the Oilers.
It's either Mikey Anderson or Drew Doughty, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, so all you have to do, like, I really think shutting down the Oilers is easier. Like, McDavid is going to score no matter what you do. Draisaitl is going to score no matter what you do. If you can keep them at a just elite level, the Oilers are not great still.
These teams were evenly matched, with LA taking the first 2 meetings, and then Edmonton taking the most recent 2. The most recent meeting being about 2 weeks ago on April 4th. All games were decided in regulation. The biggest win was in favor of the Kings. They won 6-3.
I'm excited for that series because
Did
every
they
time
play
they've
with
played, it's been
McDavid out?
entertaining.
Sorry.
Were any of those games with McDavid out?
Let's see.
The last one probably was, if I had to guess.
I doubt it.
Well, he was out for like 3 games in the beginning of the season. I think something like that, 2 or 3.
Yeah, but you also have Draisaitl. Like, it's weird. The Oilers are the weirdest team in the league because, like, oh yeah, McDavid's out. We still have Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah,
And, like, and also Zach Hyman scoring 50 was crazy. Like, the Oilers, I don't know. Like, until the Oilers can show me that they can consistently get through a playoff series, I will not pick them to win a cup. I refuse.
McDavid played against the Kings on the 28th of March, but he did not play. Wait, what? No, that's the wrong year. Oh, excuse me. That was from last year.
Zach.
Stat Muse. Oh,
No.
excuse me. Oh man, this year, excuse me. I
Zachary,
apologize. It
no.
was one. The Kings were 1-2-1 against the Oilers, so the Oilers were 3-1 against the Kings. It seems because that game was won.
let's
The
go.
Kings won their game 4-0 in regulation, and then they lost by 1, by 2, and by 3.
Let's say that
The most recent
Edmonton
game being
beats.
on March 28th, which
If
Edmonton won
Edmonton
4-1.
beats Los Angeles, who do they get next? What
Probably
series winner do they play?
Vancouver. Probably Vancouver.
Vancouver?
Yeah, because it's Pacific
That's a good
Division.
series.
It would be Vancouver if Vancouver can survive against.
Nashville.
Yes,
That is a weird series.
That's
I
a team.
don't think the Golden Knights will make it to the second round.
I do not.
I mean, I don't think so either. That's going to be a bloodbath. That first round is quite literally last year's Western Conference Finals.
Did you see the thing that Pete DeBoer has been involved in
Yes.
every single Vegas playoff
Six
run
out of the
in
six
their
out of like
entire franchise?
6 out of
Six
like
out of seven.
7 franchise playoff runs or playoff runs, something like that. It's
That's all.
crazy because
They've made the playoffs 6 out of 7 years.
oh,
Every
excuse
time
me.
they go, DeBoer either is coaching them or against them.
Well, he spent 2
Every
years.
time.
Well, the first 2 years he was coaching the Sharks. Then he became the Knights coach, and then
Yep.
now
with
he's
Dallas.
the yeah.
I really like that series. That's my favorite series of the first round right now. As much as Florida Tampa looks really good, Vegas Dallas is going to be really fun.
This better
Um,
be the Battle of Florida I was looking for in 2022. This had better be that Battle of Florida. That was supposed to be the best series in the playoffs. The up and coming Florida Panthers going up against the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning.
and it
And
sucked.
it sucked so bad. The Panthers showed up for one period and then got just absolutely dismantled by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Wasn't
That's
even
how
close.
Tampa
I could
does, though.
Tampa's. I could see Tampa making a deep run.
I could see Tampa shocking some people and taking that first series without a doubt. They're playing.
The
They're
the
playing what
Leafs
would
are
be
very clearly to me the
yeah. They're
fourth
playing Florida. What
best
am I saying?
of the Metro teams, or not Metro Atlantic teams. All four of them could go in a deep run here, and like to the Cup final. The East winner is coming out of the Atlantic. I don't think Carolina or New York really beats any of them, to be honest. I think Carolina might match against Toronto really well, but like the rest of it, I think the Metro or the Atlantic teams come out of that. It's
I don't.
I'm
Yeah,
not commenting on the Rangers series at this particular moment in
I was about to
time.
say.
I'm not
Yeah.
capable of making an objective point right now. Give me the weekend and I will. But right
Mhm.
now, I just am not capable of doing that for the Rangers. And you know what? You could say, Zach, that's really unprofessional of you. You know what? Yeah, yeah, it is.
yes, it is. We as a show
I
hate the New York Rangers.
It's not even that. It's more
It is that.
I'm being unprofessional. Well, you know who's really unprofessional? Your Lord and Savior, Matt Rempe. Like, I don't care. Like, I really don't care. I have such utter contempt for this Rangers team. I'm just going to leave it at that. Like, I do. This Rangers team, I do not like. There is not one likable soul on the team. Period. End of story.
Mika Zibanejad.
Fine.
Alexi
There is
That's a
one likable
likable
soul
dude.
on the story. Why are you ruining
Alexi
this for me? Why are
Lafreniere.
you ruining this for me?
Alexi Lafreniere. Alexi Lafreniere.
No, I hate
Now,
that guy.
honestly, there's
I
nothing
hate
really.
Alexi.
How?
There, the
Wow,
only
that's crazy.
unlikable ranger there are two unlikable rangers that I just absolutely detest: Jacob Trouba, Matt Rempe.
Yeah,
Period. End of story. Everyone else
I
is
but
think
totally fine.
90%
I
of the
think they're a
NHL would say the same
symptom of the
thing.
game. I don't necessarily blame them. I mean, if you keep getting put in, and every time that you fight someone or you play incredibly physically and skirt the line, people cheer for you and you get more ice time. As a rookie, I could totally see being like, "Well, let
No,
me do what I'm good at."
I was cool with it for like
He's not good at it though.
it was cool for the what was
A
it
week.
the no, it was cool for his debut in the Stadium Series. It was cool for like that week, but then he started delivering dirty hits on a pretty much regular basis, and everyone kept
Do you know where it
everyone.
got annoying? It got annoying when he went against Reeves. Because he went into a game and he has to fight him, and then they didn't
It's
want to, and at the end they like, that's the first dirty hit he threw was the Leafs game, if I
You know
remember
what?
correctly.
It doesn't even matter because all these guys that he fought before he fought McDermott, it was like, ah, young kid, giant young kid. Let's fight for the novelty of it. There was no like that. Those weren't real fights. I'm sorry, they weren't. They were staged bullshit, and
Yeah,
everyone's
he
praising him.
has not
Oh,
done
he's
well in
so
real
tough.
fights.
He's going up against these. No, he's going up against these soft guys to put the name on his belt. These guys want it too. I'm not faulting that, but he's not defending anything. He's just going up there and fighting because he's big. The first time he has the opportunity to actually fight, be an enforcer for his team, stand up for anything, he cowards out. He lets the refs get in his way. It's offensive.
He's
And he
got
chickens
his
out,
ass beat
and then he
so
has
many times.
the audacity to wave behind the refs like he's tough, and it's just absolutely not. I'm happy he got dog walked by Curtis McDermott to open the game in the last game of the Devils Rangers. I'm happy that game played out the way it did. I don't care that the Devils lost. I don't care. If that's the lumps that we need to take in order to move forward in the future, that's fine. But I want to see what happens in game one because
Andrew,
these
did you
Rangers,
know
I'm commenting on it.
that's
The Rangers, I want to see if they do what they did last year. It wouldn't be the first time. They showed up strong, and then partway through, something happens and they fall off.
I'm gonna say
I
two
did not
things.
know Zach had so much hatred for Matt Rempe.
Yeah, I didn't either. This kind of blew me away. We need to put like well, whatever. I'm gonna say two things. The first is that I think the Capitals will beat the Rangers in the first round narrowly. And the second thing is that Matt Rempe, Wrinkles in the Crease, is not a lot of people know this. Zach is also 6'7". So
Yeah.
Matt
No,
Rempe,
I'm not.
if you want to come on, this is an open invitation to fight Zach.
I am 5'10" and 150 pounds soaking wet. What are you
He's
doing to
being
me?
modest. He's being modest. He's
And
I
six.
judging
could
by the way that Matt
I
Rempe fights, Zach could still win.
I could create. I need this perfectly understood. Look me in the eyes. I could
Mm,
create like a Bane mask that just has smelling salts there. So I'm constantly getting that adrenaline hit. And I would not that man is a giant. He would mollywop me. It would not be close.
no, no.
But
Well,
yeah,
let
and
me
I need
keep
this
it.
made clear. I'm sure off the ice, Matt Rempe and his family are lovely people. I'm sure about that.
Guarantee it.
I'm sure that Matt Rempe and I, aside from all this, I'm sure I would find him I'm sure he is a fine, well spoken individual. I need to make that clear. I do not like the on ice person that is Matt Rempe. As a person, like I
It
don't want to
it's
feed
just
into that, like, oh, everyone threatening his personal life. No, I'm not. I'm not. No, 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 no. I'm
Yeah,
not
that
the
was
saying
a
same
lot.
way.
anything
Like
about him
I
off the
hate
ice.
Brad
I'm saying
Marchand,
what
but
he
he's
is
a
on
great
the ice.
guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Like you can hate a guy like that's like a guy like Rempe, a guy like Marchand, a guy like Wilson. It's their job for you to hate
Yeah,
them.
and you know what?
That
I'll
is their
give him
job.
that. He's good at his job. He's made me hate him in less than 2 months. So, hats off.
And you're a Devils fan. He did his job
He's
to a
supposed to
T.
he's doing what he's supposed to do. Now,
Yeah,
if he
exactly.
stops headhunting some of the team players I root for, that'd be great. But
Until then,
I also want to point out that Nate Bastian has not returned since he got separated from his soul twice in one game.
I can't believe they let him
well,
back on the ice.
I can't
That's
believe they
ridiculous.
let him back on the ice either. He was on IR with a lower body injury, and it's like
That's, I
the
just
head
don't.
is the upper body.
it is.
Now,
Last
just
time I checked.
while we're off topic and on Devils injuries, did you guys see that? Then after this, we'll go back to playoffs. But did you guys see the Timo Meyer injury release?
Yeah,
I
double
did not.
MCL.
He started the season with a double MCL injury. Now, what do you, Zach? Does that mean was he injured in the same MCL in two different locations? No, both MCLs were injured to start the season. The reason the man struggled may have had something to do with that, and he also had his middle body injury was an oblique injury, but that I mean the
Everyone
when you
has an
describe an
oblique
injury as
injury.
a middle body injury, that kind of limits what it actually can be. So that's not the most surprising thing in the world.
So, you mean to tell me his knees don't work?
His knees
His
did
knees
not
are
work.
jello.
No, no, no. They got
Hmm.
better. They got better, and that's why he started scoring goals
Yeah,
at the end of the
he's getting
season.
out.
So we should be afraid of Timo Meyer next year, is what you're
If
saying.
he can keep his MCLs together, yes.
Devils are
If,
making
if
playoffs next
anyone on
year.
our team, if anyone on our team gets injured next season, I'm done.
Guys. For the Devils, you know what? Let's do the postmortem later. Let's let the season lie a little bit. Let's digest, and let's turn it back to the playoffs.
I'm
But I did
almost
want to.
positive Devils
I did want
postmortem
to. I
3 months ago.
Yes,
That's
I
so
did want.
true.
That is
So
also true. Um, but I did want to just touch on the Timo Meyer injury report because that is just insane to me.
yeah,
But
it's crazy.
I'm surprised a team that didn't make the playoffs did that because they usually a little more. Usually, when they hear that from playoff teams, it usually doesn't get the media rounds.
Oh, by the way,
that was a him. Someone
Clean out day.
he came out himself with that to I want to say Amanda Stein. I mean, I saw it
Was
on her
that? That was
Twitter.
probably a clean out day quote. If I had to
Yeah,
guess,
one
it
hundred
sounds like
percent,
yeah.
100%.
that's what I would do
Yeah.
if I was a hockey player and I didn't produce. I'd just be like, oh my god, dude, my spine was just broken the entire
But it was
first.
I had a
reported that
herniated disc.
It was reported he had a lower body injury to start the season, though. Like that was somewhat reported.
I know,
Yeah,
but like, just
I would
imagine
lie.
if
I
I
would
got
lie.
drafted.
100%.
If they somehow drafted me
You're
next
21. You can't do that.
year,
You're ineligible. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're 30, Zach, and I hate you.
I've been ineligible now for 10 years. Thank you for reminding me. Please continue.
No, I'm still gonna get drafted. You just don't get it. You don't get it.
They're gonna change the rules.
You don't get it. When they come out with the
Okay.
ninth round
Oh,
secret draft.
you mean they're going to bring back the 9th round just for you? We're going to skip the 8th round. Just go right to the 9th.
Yep.
Yeah,
The NHL
exactly.
supplemental draft, actually. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
If there was like a vibes draft that they didn't go on like skill, then I'm pretty sure I'd get drafted.
Fantastic. Okay.
Like fifth
Yeah.
round.
So we've kind of touched on what we think our favorite series of the first round is going to be. It seems like it's either Battle of Florida or Dallas Vegas are probably the two favorite series going into round one. Do you agree?
I would say it's hard not to expect those two to be the most
Premier
competitive
series.
because those are, at least in my opinion, you have on the Western side, you've got the top team in the West decidedly who it's close, but
Dallas is
in
in
my
President's
opinion,
Trophy talks all year.
yeah, it's close, but like Dallas has been at the top of the Central for almost the entire season. Winnipeg was there to start,
And
but then they took over, and it's been that way ever since.
Oh, who's Winnipeg?
that was with Jake Ottinger playing pretty mid for a large
Yep,
portion
and then
of the
Jake
season.
Ottinger turned it back on, and it's
And then they aren't losing anymore.
crazy,
Yeah, crazy how that works.
But
Um,
and again, going up against the defending Stanley Cup champions, where this was the matchup that ultimately we saw how things played out with Florida. They had too much time to sit in between the Eastern Conference Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. I think it's likely that had Dallas gotten through that series, they would have also taken care of Florida. I think it would have taken them more games, but I think they also would have been Stanley Cup champions. So
yeah, I agree.
the rematch of the
But
Western Conference Finals in the first round is going to be a lot of fun.
yeah,
And then the
do you
Battle of
guys have a
Florida, if
series
that lives up, is great.
do you have a series you don't care about? Like, is there just one that you're just like skip over?
Winnipeg.
Do you want me to read the series to you?
Winnipeg.
No, because before you say anything, my answer is the Carolina Hurricanes and New York Islanders. And my reasoning for that is the
Oh, it's 'cause
Carolina
you're boring.
Hurricanes, in their most recent trips to the Eastern Conference Finals, which they may get there again, they may not. They are yet to win an Eastern Conference Finals game. Period. Like in the past, I don't know. Since the bunch of jerks went on their runs, no West Eastern Conference Finals wins. So
Do you know who they remind me of? The Capitals from like 6 or 7 years ago. Like before they won the cup, Carolina and Washington have the same like
the
kind of
2013, 2014, 2015 Capitals. Yeah, I could see that.
yeah, where it was just like, oh, we're the best team in league. Ah, it's the fucking Penguins again.
We
Like
have
that's
no
what
teeth.
Carolina
Yeah.
reminds me of. Yeah.
But if they finally get through, like if they win one Eastern Conference Finals game, they're going to win the Stanley Cup. Period. End of story. Because
Are you guys looking forward to Winnipeg, Colorado? Because
yes,
I think
No,
that series is a
I don't-
lock. I'm sorry. I do not believe in the Jets. I absolutely refuse. I
no,
hate the Jets.
I love this. I want to see if this is the ultimate are you for real? Because if you're for real and close the Colorado Avalanche's window, do it. You can do that this series. Maybe, probably not, but you can.
They could, couldn't they? Because Colorado's kind of they
They won. They
they've
barely
had some
got in
injury
this year.
problems though.
Or well, barely
Yeah,
got in.
that's true.
They're the third in the Central, but
They skyrocketed towards the end.
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
So I don't
It's
know.
but I think every series, the Rangers Washington series, as much as Zach wants to hate on that series, is going to be boring. That's a 4 or 5 game series.
I don't know because that's something where
Zach, Zach, no, no,
No.
no,
Trevor,
no.
Trevor,
Enlighten me.
I have no reason to believe in either team. None.
I'm
Zero.
sorry that
I
I
have
do
equal
not
reason
think
to not believe in the Rangers as I do not believe in the Washington Capitals.
okay.
Maybe
This is
equal
my
reason
take.
isn't true. Okay, the
The
Capitals definitely are
Capitals
not going to win the Stanley Cup. The Rangers realistically could, honestly.
the Capitals are so undeserving of that spot The Rangers have a first-round bye.
That's not true. The Philadelphia Flyers worked really hard to lose those 8 straight games to make sure that the Capitals got that spot. How dare you?
No, I'm sorry that every team in the Mid-Tropolitan just shat their pants for the
Hey,
last 6 weeks of the season.
you put some retupact on the Philadelphia Flyers 8-game losing streak and the New Jersey Devils' inability to die.
What about the Capitals going like 2-7-1 to end the year or
Hey,
something
they
like
got the
that?
empty net goal, did they not? Did they not?
They got the empty net goal.
Yep.
I cannot believe a team made the playoffs on an empty net
Yep.
goal.
Let's go.
But like,
Uh,
Washington technically earned a playoff spot, but you cannot tell me Detroit didn't deserve it more.
I can tell you Detroit didn't deserve it more because the point standing is not broken, and that's what it determined.
Washington is possibly the worst playoff team of the Cap era.
You're lying to
Probably.
yourself. You're lying to yourself.
Oh, who's worse? This Capitals team, their
Please hold.
fourth or fifth leading scorer got traded a month and a half ago. Alex Ovechkin is not their leading scorer. Like, this team is bad.
That's fine.
Zach's like, that just sounds like depth. That's what I hear. like, I'm sorry. Like, they're ass. This
would be
team is
awesome
not good.
if the Maple Leafs make it and the Capitals make it. The Capitals knock out the Leafs, and then they face the Dallas Stars, and then somehow they win that too.
If Washington wins the Stanley Cup,
I wouldn't mind.
we're just
I wouldn't care. Really.
no, because do you know what every GM in the league would do? Be like, Washington sold at the deadline and won the cup, so we might as well just sell at the deadline too. There's no point.
Okay, so hear me out. I went back a few years and I just started looking at teams. In 2019, the Colorado Avalanche snuck into the playoffs with 90 points. Never mind the fact that last year the Panthers snuck in with 87. The Avalanche proceeded to show us that the top-seeded Calgary Flames were not deserving of being in the playoffs that year. They took them out in 5. These are the NHL.
I remember that.
These are the NHL playoffs. Anything can happen. We don't know.
Except Toronto winning.
We don't know which teams will show up. And again, with the Rangers, I need to see who shows up. And if the Rangers take the Capitals if the Rangers play the Capitals the way they played the Devils last year, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in trouble.
But you know what? On the opposite end of the spectrum, I would pay money to see 7 games of Jacob Trouba and Tom Wilson just elbowing each other in the jaw for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
the NHL would love for that.
If they try to rely on the physicality of their team again, like if they put Matt Rempe in and just expect like the effect to happen again, he's going to get his clock cleaned and they're going to lose all.
They'll get eaten alive if they try to out physical Washington.
Will, not only does Washington have more skilled players than Matt Rempe and Jacob Trouba, but they have more physical players. Well, not than Jacob Trouba, but the Capitals have to lose all of the steam that they have.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
They don't have steam though.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I kind of want to see how it shouldn't happen for multiple reasons. This shouldn't be.
You want to see the Svechnikov again. You want to see him go out there in a playoff game and beat the shit out of like a 20-something-year-old. You want to see Alex Ovechkin like knock out a child.
I want to see Alex Ovechkin knock out a child. Yes. No, I don't want to see that. That would be awful. But I think it would. But
it would be.
But he would.
Experience. Svechnikov learned.
He learned that day. He learned that day.
Ovechkin credit as he's aged for the fact that he is still an animal.
Those were the same playoffs, by the way. That I was referencing with Colorado. Same year, 2019.
That was a Svechnikov knockout. Year.
That was a good playoff year. That was the St. Louis Blues year.
Didn't we?
Yeah, because that was the year.
That was the year Ryan O'Reilly won the Conn Smythe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Leafs
Leafs blew a
won.
lead in Game 7.
Yep, Leafs blew lead in Game
Yeah.
7.
What?
This was also the year that
What? To Boston?
this
What?
was also the year that Columbus swept Tampa.
The Leafs are so cold.
Ah, yes.
The Leafs are
Oh, yeah.
so. I can't even. I would be so mad if I was a Leafs fan. This close to not
Okay.
getting in the first round.
Okay.
Just
Can I get a minute on this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I'll mute myself just so you have that full minute.
Yeah, thank you. The Leafs are going into this as the 3 seed in the Atlantic, and they have to play the Boston Bruins, who is historically their boogeyman. They have not beaten the Boston Bruins in a playoff series, since 1959. It's the last time they beat them. And they've played each other a lot of
1959 was
times
recent.
since then. The Leafs have won 4 Stanley Cups since they beat the Bruins in a playoff series.
My
Think
parents
about
have
that.
lived my parents have lived their entire lives since the Leafs beat the Bruins in a playoff series.
it's
All
really
So,
funny.
my mom, dad, and stepmom, all 3 of them.
okay, so is it a little unfair that the Leafs get rewarded with such a good regular season by playing Boston? A little bit. Guess what? You'd still have to beat them at some point.
I mean, I don't
Welcome to the
really.
playoff. I'm so sick of Toronto playing the damn victim card when it comes to round 1. Guess what, guys? It's the playoffs. All the
Yeah.
teams are good. You're not going to get a gimme.
Boo hoo! The Dallas Stars took the top seed in the West, and they get rewarded with the defending Stanley Cup champions. What are you talking about? Why would I? Why should I
Even
care?
okay,
Why should I care that
let's
Toronto has to play Boston? Why do I care about that?
exactly. And I'm so sick of like Leafs fans just making like yes, it sucks. It sucks to come out of the Atlantic. But guess what? Tampa came out of the Atlantic when they won the Cups. You're
That's
gonna
not.
like let's
That's
say
not
like
true. That's not.
they
They well, the first year they did, but the second year they didn't.
COVID, whatever.
Yeah, they came out of the COVID
Tampa had to
division.
beat good teams in the playoffs. That's how it works.
Montreal in the
Like do you
Stanley Cup
guys
Finals.
do the Leafs think after they beat the Bruins in the first round it's gonna get easier? Ah,
Yes,
guys, the first one's the hardest. Like
that was
we
proven to
got
them when they lost to Florida
last
last year in
year.
5 games.
Yeah, it was. It was.
It
Florida was
always
just a
gets
much better
easier,
team.
duh.
They were not going to win.
Obviously,
Yeah, but like, what are you expecting? Like, oh, we beat Boston, so now we get to play Washington. No, no, you beat Boston. Guess who you have? One of the Florida teams who you don't play well against. The real thing that the Leafs fans and the team itself should be scared of is the fact that in the season series against Boston and Florida, they went 1-7.
that's really good.
That's not good. They did not. They have not beaten Boston in like a year and a half.
That's really good.
Guys, I'm scared.
I
I'm
think
scared.
I honestly think like I know they're professionals, but I do think part of it is a mental thing. I think when people
Oh,
hype up
100%. The Leafs
not
are
leaving
so in
the
their
first
heads.
round, like if you just like let it lie and let it happen, I guarantee you they have a better shot than like constantly hyping up the fact that they're never going to leave the first round and they're never going to beat Boston.
If if you go
Which
back
is
and
why I do
watch
it.
the Montreal series, the second they went up 3-1, you could tell the oh my god, we're actually gonna do it hit. Because every player played like shit. It if they don't win this series, and it's a shame because I think this
I
is the
think that
best the
was the
Leafs
worst
team has
one.
looked in a while. Montreal was the
Well,
one that pisses me off the most,
I
though.
think that was the worst one. Yeah,
Because I still believe in Zach. I know you think I'm wrong here. If the Leafs win that series, I do think they win the cup. I
they don't win the
truly
cup, but
believe
they
it.
at least make it to the Cup Finals. They don't. No one
They
was
had
beating.
a cakewalk the rest of the playoffs.
They weren't going to beat Tampa. Don't pretend that they were. They weren't going to beat Tampa. No one was beating Tampa that year.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you get to let's say they lose to Tampa in
Stop
the
it.
Stanley Cup final.
Stop it.
No, 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 you didn't hear me. You didn't hear me. If they lose to Tampa in the Stanley Cup final, you can go into next year with a much more positive attitude, and
That's
we're not so doom and
fair.
gloom.
That's fair.
Right? That
But there,
Montreal series created this.
but like they had Blake Coleman making like $3 million on their third line. Like that team was so
well,
stacked. It was
I'm
absurd.
sorry that we couldn't beat the Tampa Bay cap circumvention. Sorry we couldn't have beat that.
Which I'm glad we're on the top. I'm glad you brought that up. Can we just applaud the Vegas Golden Knights medical staff for every year? Now, this is the second year in a row where their captain Mark Stone has gone down with an injury, and they've managed to time out the rehab so well that it seems very likely that for the second year in a row, Mark Stone is going to be back in time for Game 1 of the playoffs. Can we just round of
Zach,
applause for the Vegas medical staff? That's impressive.
Zach, you're in
That's
PT right now,
incredible.
right?
I am in PT.
You're in
Yes,
PT. I
it's
can
fun.
guarantee if you went to Vegas, you'd be fine tomorrow.
I'd be
That's
fine
what they
tomorrow,
do.
but I'm very afraid of what that means because if I'm being honest with you, it's supposed to be this way. PT is awful. I'm not having fun. Um I'm in
No
for
one
my
has fun.
knee, hip, whatever. My right hip hasn't um I haven't had a day where my right hip isn't sore in
Since the Leafs beat the Boston Bruins in
no,
playoffs.
I'm being serious here in at least 2 weeks. It's supposed to be that way because I'm constantly working it. It's going
You're building
well,
the
but
strength back.
it sucks.
Hurts.
And if Mark Stone, I do believe that Mark Stone was legitimately injured.
He was. No one's
If he
saying he
went
wasn't.
if he went through the to go through that rehab is not easy. It should never be knocked. It
What
sucks and it
rehab?
take
What is a lacerated spleen? What does that mean?
Just
I
recovery
actually don't know.
of it.
I
I don't
actually
know what
don't
the
know what
rehab
the
looks
rehab
like
would
for that.
be. I don't know what the rehab for that would be. I don't know if there is rehab, but
How do
that
you
just sucks.
lacerate your spleen playing hockey? And I'm not saying
Very
injuries,
easily.
but
Bro,
what is
A
a
hit.
lacerate?
A
How do
hit'll
you
do it.
lacerate a spleen?
a hit,
A
blocking a
violent hit will
shot.
do it. Yeah.
And what is a
Do you know
Just
what
any
what is
I
a
trauma.
what? What was the question? I'm sorry.
what is a laceration and how do you
It's
do
like a
it?
cut.
A cut.
Okay, that's what I thought, but how do you cut a spleen?
You
Like
I
it's
take
think trauma can do
so
it.
you go down to block a shot. You know how hockey pads work. The chest protection protector, yeah, it does protect your abs to some degree. But if you get like the obliques are more or less unprotected. You get hit in the side by a puck, by a body, that can do some serious damage.
all
Yeah.
right.
Like
Those.
I'm looking up human anatomy. Hold on.
yeah, no, it's
Oh
not.
my.
It can happen.
It happens a lot. Not a lot, but
It's not the most frequent injury, but it's a believable injury in a contact sport like hockey or football.
I think the Oak Leafs on Twitter/X said it, but no one is saying the injuries are fake. No one's
Yeah,
saying that. Every cap circumvention injury is real. They're manipulating the timeline of when they come back.
yeah,
That is what's happening. You can't look at a healthy player and go, "You have a broken leg." It doesn't work like that. These players are hurt.
of course.
It's just like, hey, Mark, you're healthy. The playoffs start in 2 weeks. Why don't you take the 2 weeks, rest, get extra healthy, and we don't have to pay you.
Also,
That's all that's
what
happening.
I don't I just have a lot of questions about the semantics of the lacerated spleen. You
He's
know,
very stuck on lacerated spleen.
it is a crazy injury to get from hockey.
It's a
It's
crazy
terrifying.
injury.
I like to lacerate you lacerate anything, not good.
To
Laceration,
lacerate an
pretty bad.
internal organ is impressive because
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I want to see. You know how you can kind of last year in the playoffs, you could see the hit where Matthew Kachuk
yes, broke
is
his
like
sternum.
sternum. Yeah, I
You knew
want
which
to
hit that
Oh,
see
happened on. It
the
wasn't a question.
play where Mark Stone lacerated his spleen, and I want to see how that affected the game. I want to see
Did it? I mean, it could have happened in
how he
practice. I hate
from it.
to.
yeah, it happens.
Ha-
It's like Do you remember when
oh,
Patrice Bergeron punctured a lung in the playoffs?
oh my
I think
god!
it's a similar kind of thing. It's just a traumatic hit can do it.
Wow, that's
Patrice Bergeron should have died when that happened. I believe he broke his sternum
average
and
league,
punctured his
huh?
lung. No, okay. I feel the need to clear this up like Zach did. As a Leafs fan, I love Patrice
Terrible,
Bergeron.
terrible,
I don't
Trevor.
think there's a
Terrible,
better
Trevor.
person in the NHL. Oh, former NHL player now, but Patrice Bergeron is one of the best guys in the league.
Can we
Nothing but
get an
mad
instant
respect
replay
for him.
on Trevor saying Patrice Bergeron should have died?
No, no, we are
Literally,
not.
2 minutes ago.
But that is an injury that most people would not get up from. And he played through it.
He did.
Well,
Now,
that's crazy.
is there anything else that we really have to say about the playoffs? Because I got one more piece of news, and then we can kind of break for the night, I think.
No, I think we got everything I wanted to say out. It's playoff hockey. We'll have more to say next week.
Yeah.
For
Yep.
sure. Yeah.
Yep. Recording next Thursday. It is currently Friday, April 19th. And 6 hours ago, the Team USA, named their head coach for the
Can I guess?
World Championships.
I want to guess. It's an NHL coach, right?
Yes, it is.
Just to knock that out. Is it Mike Sullivan?
It is not Mike Sullivan.
Mike
Ooh.
Babcock.
It is not Mike
No,
Babcock.
he's Canadian. He's Canadian.
You were close in Mike Sullivan in the sense that I think they both
Please
came
tell me
up
it's not Dan Bylsma.
They have one. The three of those the three coaches, the one who's hired Dan Bylsma and Mike Sullivan, all have one franchise in common.
Buffalo? No.
Nope.
Pittsburgh.
Indy rough.
Is it Mike Johnston?
No.
Zach?
No and no.
Thank God.
You guys are getting colder. But
and we're sure it's not Babcock.
Oh, it's Rick Tocchet. Rick Tocchet.
Nope. It's no.
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna give you guys one more guess before I'm just gonna pull the plug.
Andrew, I'll give it to you.
Andrew might be familiar.
Penguins
with this guy.
coaches.
If he thinks back hard before the Lindy rough time.
Ray Shiro? No, he was a GM, not a coach.
He was a GM. Very good.
Yeah. Because I was thinking,
I'm pulling up from 3. Lou Lamoriello.
Absolutely not. John Hines, Minnesota Wild coach John Hines.
God. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take.
That's a choice. That is
doing
a choice.
This. We're doing this.
With Team USA. I am all for
the last
this.
world champion. No, that's not true because it's the Summer Olympics. The World Championships before the Summer Olympics.
Can I ask a very reasonable question about this?
Sure.
Why is it not Mike Sullivan?
because John Hines is available.
Yeah, but Mike Sullivan has been very much the front runner to coach Team USA for a long time now.
Yeah, but John Hines has been an assistant with Team USA for a bunch of years now. It's not the most surprising hire.
Do you know what this
Everybody
is?
knows that John Hines was next up. That's everyone.
That's not really but he's been an assistant for a while.
It was expected. I mean,
do they have their GM
yet? One of the best coaches in the NHL. So.
Team USA? I'm sure they have their GM for the. I don't know if they do buy event, but let's see.
No, they usually do because Canada just said that Kyle Dubas is going to be the assistant GM for Team Canada, and then I believe Jim Hill is the GM.
That's going to be fun.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Bill Guerin will be he's going to be director of team player personnel for Team USA and the Four Nations face-off.
I hope we win.
And he's also the he's expected to work with John Van Beesbrook, the assistant executive director of hockey operations for USA Hockey.
If you had, because I think the coaches are more interesting than the GMs. If you had to pick one coach for USA and one coach for Canada, who would you pick? Ignoring your fascination with John Hines and his ineptitude while coaching an NHL team,
I don't know.
Who would you actually pick to coach?
I mean, John Hines has a pretty good, international.
No, he does not.
Can they be fictional?
No,
a real coach.
All right.
Why does he look so sad? Ah, damn. Andrew.
Because I wanted to say Coach Gordon Bombay of the Mighty Ducks. He would whip Team USA into shape.
Yeah, can I Herb Brooks, but not real life Herb Brooks.
Yeah.
Herb Brooks from the movie Miracle.
Kurt Russell. Herb Brooks.
Yeah, Kurt Russell. Herb Brooks. So Kurt Russell.
Just Kurt Russell. Just
Kurt Russell. Yeah. What am I saying?
He did a good job. He probably knows what he's
Kurt
talking
Russell,
about.
but he only responds to Herb Brooks. That's his name.
Or no, he only responds to Coach. He gets into character. He is Coach.
Yes, that's right.
He is not Herb Brooks. He is Coach.
No,
and then for Canada, I really think Pete DeBoer has really done a good job in Dallas.
I don't hate Pete DeBoer, but he's Canadian.
No,
that's
for
where.
Team Canada. For Team
Oh, for
Canada,
Team
I would
Canada.
say
Okay.
DeBoer. Yeah.
For Team
Or John
USA,
Cooper. It's hard to not pick John Cooper. Actually, John Cooper's American. Why? Oh, okay. Because he's in the
no,
Buffalo.
I don't like John Cooper for the national team. I just had a guy, but I'm not sure. Is what's his face? Let me check
Give me
this
a team.
before.
I would love
Oh,
John Tortorella.
Paul Maurice is who I would pick
Oh.
for Team Canada. If Paul Maurice was
Oh,
American.
he'd be
Yeah,
such a good
If Paul
Team
Maurice
Canada
was
coach.
American, I mean,
that's a good
we
pick.
act like there aren't different nationalities that coach, different hockey teams.
They
But
can be.
for
Yeah.
but for America and Canada, I feel like it's all in Russia specifically. They're going to be guys from
Yeah,
You
those
have
countries.
enough of a pool to
Yeah,
select a
exactly,
worthy candidate.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah. Then that's why we chose John Hines, baby.
for the World
Hell yeah.
I
Championship, yes,
cannot believe we picked John Hines.
it's the
I
World
cannot.
Championships. You guys are acting like you guys are acting like this tournament it generally has more people caring about this around the NHL than they do.
That's
This
true.
is the tournament that people are sent to when they don't make the playoffs, when they get knocked out of the playoffs early. This is
So,
what they do. No disrespect to the
so
World
Mike
Championship.
Sullivan, do you know what happened? Mike Sullivan thought he could be in the playoffs and they needed a coach to start preparing. That's what happened.
They named
Minnesota's
this
been out
they
for a lot longer than Pittsburgh.
not
When they
really
name this?
like today. And
I just can't fathom
Minnesota
them
made a
not
push.
picking
Like
Mike
I'm pretty
Sullivan.
Minnesota may have been out for a week, but it wasn't that much longer. Pittsburgh was in it for maybe a few more days.
Pittsburgh was in it until 2 days ago.
Yeah. Minnesota was in it until recently, were they not?
This was a
No, I think they're
crazy,
out a little bit ago.
crazy end to the season.
It was. Mad dash at the
Genuinely,
end.
just ridiculous.
We
Ridiculous
had
how
many
it
teams really trying not to make the playoffs, and I want to shout out those
In
teams.
fact, all of them. Let's list them. Pittsburgh tried
New
their best
Jersey.
at times in the season.
Philadelphia, I
New
mean,
Jersey, Philadelphia,
my
yeah.
God. How do you third in the
Washington.
Metro for the majority of the season?
I picked Ottawa to make the playoffs.
Oh, so did I.
Boss baby.
I also thought Detroit would do better than they did, but
They did pretty good for what
All
they
you gotta
were.
do
they
is
should
make
be in
it.
the playoffs. They should be
No,
in the
they shouldn't
playoffs.
be. Again, they shouldn't be. They look at the
I'm
standings. They
glad
should
they're
not be
not.
in the playoffs.
I have much more hope in the Capitals to take on the Rangers than I do the Red Wings to take on the Rangers. I think the Red Wings should get eviscerated.
Zach, please wrap it up.
He's right, though.
Please wrap it up. No.
On the basis of experience, he's right. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Wrinkles in the Crease. Please enjoy the start of the playoffs. We will be recording again on Thursday. Enjoy your weekend, and we will talk to you soon. Trevor, I wish you nothing but pain.